out there, it is time for some Q&A, which means that we are at 1,000 subscribers, and I am just blown away. I can't believe that that many people are supportive of my trip and really encouraging. And this just started out, you know, before I left. Whitney, the editor, was like, hey, if you take some video clips, I'll put them together for you so you kind of have a keepsake from your trip. But it's really turned into more than that, and I hope that it's encouraging some people to get out there and hike, whether they do a section hike or through hike, and also provide some, you know, information about the trip and answers to any questions that y'all might have. So we've received some good questions, and I'm going to go ahead and answer those, but y'all keep them coming. It's really kind of hard to remember the questions I had before I came out here, so I'm more than happy to answer them. And thank y'all again so much for your support and for following along. What was the weight of my pack when I started? So when I first started, my pack was about 38 pounds. Now that was with 2 liters of water, my trekking poles attached, with my cold weather sleeping bag, and I think 6 days of food. So 38 pounds with all of that. Now my pack is about 28 pounds. But it's definitely a lot warmer, so I've got, you know, I've sent all my cold weather clothes home, and I also sent my sleeping bag home and swapped to like a fleece sleeping bag. Some people are just using fleece blankets from the Goodwill or whatever, and that's probably with 1 liter of water and I would say 5 days of food. So from 38 to 28, it'll be a little bit over 30, I'd say, once I get my cold clothes back and my sleeping bag back. Oh, and to add to the weight of the pack question, also I went from a 4-pound hammock setup. It was a E&O double nest with a homemade bug net and tarp, to a Big Agnes Fly Creek 2-person tent, which is 2 pounds 5 ounces. So that saves some weight right there. Okay, one common question is, how do you guys know each other? So how do all of these people that are in my videos and I know each other? And the answer is the Appalachian Trail. I did not know anybody when I started. I started alone. I met Rigga like the 1st or 2nd day of hiking, and like by the 3rd or 4th day we started hiking together. She and I are actually a couple days apart right now, but a day or 2 apart at this point in the trail. You catch people and cross paths with them, and you get back behind our head and they get behind our head, so we're still, you know, in the same little bubble. But yeah, everybody we became friends out here. We just, you know, birds of a feather flock together. Although we're really not all that much alike. It's kind of like a bowl of soup and we all add a different spice to it. But yeah, we just all started hanging out and get along great and have formed a little family. And it's really nice to have other people looking out for you. You know, if they don't see you at camp about the time you show up. I mean, I've had people come look for me, and I don't know, you just realize that people care about you out here, and we all kind of look out for each other. But I would say 99% of the people that I've met out here on the trail have been wonderful. So even if you're going to start alone, do not be afraid to start alone, and you do not need a gun. Everybody will tell you need a gun. You don't need a gun. I have been more nervous in town than on the trail. So the people are great. You form bonds, you form friendships, you form groups, and it's wonderful. The community out here is absolutely wonderful. Next question, where exactly are you guys? Are the videos released a month late? So right now I am in the residence of Rebel Yell's family. A pile of us are all here enjoying a little break, and hence his niece's princess bed behind me. But so yeah, the videos are a little behind, but that's because of the lapse. You know, when I first started, I had to get some video footage together and send it to Whitney, and so she is going to start releasing 2 videos per week to try to catch up for that lapse in time. And also my blog is a little bit behind, but so yeah, right now I'm near Port Clinton, Pennsylvania. So that's where I'm at right now, and it is July 11th, I think. So I know some people have been concerned about me not making it to Katahdin in time, but no worries, on schedule. So who is the editor and how do I know her? Well, the editor is a fine lady by the name of Whitney, and I know her because we went to college together. We both went to Auburn University, and graduated with a degree in biosystems engineering, which is a great major. And if y'all are not aware of that, of what it is not biomedical engineering. It's more like agricultural, environmental-ish engineering. So that's what we went to school for, and we both graduated in 2012, and we've just kind of been friends ever since. So that's how I know Whitney. Be safe on the trail. How do you plan or prepare for a trip like that? I know that no one wakes and says, I'm going to do the AT next week. Okay, so yes, this trip took a lot of planning. I probably actually started in-depth planning about 2 months before I left, and I just researched, asked questions, checked out people's blogs, and yeah, I mean, you don't decide overnight that you want to do this. Well, I guess you kind of, to an extent, finally definitely say, yes, I'm doing it one day, right? But it's something that I've wanted to do since I was about 5 years old. I remember standing at Newfound Gap when I was little with my mom and asking her to explain what the Appalachian Trail sign meant to me, and she said, well, that's where people walk from Georgia to Maine on that path. And I immediately was in love with that idea, and I remember hoping that like I could get her to walk down the path with me and we'd get lost and we'd have to go all the way to Maine, you know. But yeah, that was just when the seed was planted in my mind. And then, you know, I had an internship while I was in school, and I had a job offer right outside of graduation, so you know, it wasn't really a good time. I had to take the job. You know, there are a lot of people that I went to school with that didn't even have jobs, you know, right away. So I was very thankful for the position, and I took it, and then moved out to Colorado and worked in the oil field for about 1.5 years, and the job just wasn't really working out for me, so I decided right then I'd leave it to fate. You know, I had 3 months, and I would apply for different jobs and look for something else, and if I didn't find anything, then it meant that I was ready to go hike. And crazily enough, I ran into a guy in downtown Denver that was looking to move to the area. He was on a job interview, and we got to talking about what I liked about Denver, and I said, well, it was really close to different hiking trails and that I enjoyed hiking, but that might not be his thing. And he said, well, have you ever heard of the Appalachian Trail? And I was like, have I heard of it? Oh, please. Definitely, I would love to do it. And he was like, well, I did it last year. And that was kind of the final push for me that, you know, it's time, like this is my chance and I'm gonna do it. So when I didn't find a good job offer after 3 months of looking, I decided it was time to quit my job and move back to Alabama and start planning for my AT thru hike. And so I did, and just try to get things in order back in Alabama before I started. And I had never been on an overnight backpacking trip before. I had been hiking plenty of times and done car camping and stuff like that, but had never like gone with everything I needed on my back and tried it until my first day on the Appalachian Trail. So it can be done. I probably wouldn't recommend it. It's probably safer to test out your gear, you know, go on a few trial runs, but it can be done, and I did it, and I'm fine, and I'm still here, and I'm over halfway. So yeah, just don't be afraid to start alone. Don't be afraid to do something you've never done. People out here are very helpful. It's so funny because you're like, oh my gosh, I need a battery, or I need a this, or oh, I have one less meal than what I needed. And it, you know, there's a saying out here that the trail provides, and it really does. You know, people are all out here to band together and help each other, and so I've never been without. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of planning that goes into it, but you just can't stress over it too much. You know, it just you figure out what you need once you're out here. You figure out if you've prepared correctly or not, and a lot of people are willing to help you if you haven't. So I'm so happy I found your channel. My cousin and I are section hiking Newfound Gap through Hot Springs at the end of July. Well, I am excited to hear that. I'm glad that my channel has hopefully been helpful to you, and if you have any questions, which you're probably about to leave, but if you do have any questions specifically about that section, let me know. I definitely enjoyed it. Hot Springs is a cute little town. I enjoyed hanging out there. Newfound Gap is where, you know, my first seed was planted of wanting to hike the Appalachian Trail when I was about 5, so those are both special places for me, and Hot Springs is really where my group kind of came together and really got to know each other. So that's awesome. I'm excited for you, and I hope that you and your cousin have a wonderful time on the trail.